to do. Okay, North Brunswick is in the house with Claudia. Okay. All right, well, I'm going to get started because it's about 5 past, and I'll keep looking at my participant list and adding folks as they sign in. Lynn, how are you? Good to see you from out in Black Mountain. Heading out in your general direction at the end of the week for fall call for CKI up in Brevard.
In Brevard, well, swing by Black Mountain.
Yeah, they're in Ridgehaven.
We're looking forward to having our governor here, Donnie, in
next month. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Good, good. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, can you see the screen now, folks? Okay.
Yes.
I'm getting some head nods, so that's a good thing. All right. I hope I can. Hey, Donnie, do me a favor, if you could.
Yes, sir.
Could you click on the participants button down at the bottom of your screen?
Yes, sir.
And if you see anybody show up in the waiting room that needs to be admitted, you should be able to do
Okay.
that.
I will keep an eye on that.
I appreciate it. I will try to do that as well, but it's always better to have a couple of sets of eyes looking for it. So good. Okay, well, thanks everybody for taking the time. I'm Joe Krostick, who I know many of you, but not really all of you. So just briefly, I was governor back in 21-22 and now serve as our district treasurer. And yes, you can blame a lot of you can give me a lot of the blame for the fact that we had a dues increase back a few months ago. But as I think we adequately explained, it was really needed. But at that time, we talked about ways to mitigate the impact of the dues increase. And that one of those things that we mentioned was this program called Raise Right, which can be used to help your administrative fund, as well as if you want to give it to your service fund for your project. So that's why I consider this to be particularly versatile. So this is what I plan to cover this evening. First of all, what is it? How is it that we make money? And then how can we use that money that we raise? I'm going to give you some specific examples of that. And then what are some of the specifics of operating the program? Because I know that North Brunswick is on the call, and I know they have signed up for the program. And when you get into it, you find there's lots of questions and things you didn't anticipate ahead of time. So I'm going to try to do my best to just give you some ideas of what those things might be. But in fact, there's no replacement for actually trying to do it and moving on. But we'll give you enough information. I think you can decide as take back to your clubs or whether it's something that in fact they might want to do or not do to begin with. So, and then if you think that you do want to do it, then I want to go over how you start a program, both from the club's perspective and then as a member of that club, what is it that they need to do in order to get moving on the program. Okay, and there's the little heart that we saw when a couple of you were looking for the app a little bit earlier. So what is it? Very simply, it's a fundraiser that you make money by selling gift cards, and we sell gift cards at face value. You can have your members buy the cards. You can sell them to the public. And the way we make money simply is that a percentage of every gift card that is sold or purchased comes back to the club. And it was originally introduced back in 21 to us through the Kiwanis International newsletter. And at the time, the program was called Shop with Script, not Raise Right. The app has always been Raise Right, but Shop with Script was what they called the online version. And Shop with Script is actually a fairly good description, because what they're trying to get us to do is it's not to buy gift cards necessarily to give as gifts, but to buy a gift card and then use that yourself, and basically be getting the discount that they're offering, going to your club or shared with the member. And we'll talk about that as well in a few minutes. So if you're in Walmart and you're buying $100 worth of groceries, it's possible that while you're standing there in line, you can, in fact, buy a gift card on your phone for $100.29, which is the convenience fee. And in the case of Walmart, 2.5% or $2.50 will then go to your club. So it's Walmart is not one of the bigger percentage groups, but it is available. Just like Amazon.com is not a big one, but in fact, you can in fact use it. Yes, Claudia is added in chat to make sure everyone knows that the percentage is paid by the vendor, not by you. Right. So you paid $100.29. You have $100 to use at Walmart or whatever the vendor is, and they then send $2.50 back to the club. All right. There we go. So who offers these gift cards, right? There's over 750 vendors, as I refer to them, or retailers that participate in the program. And each one sets their rebate percentage. And their standard percentages are anywhere from 1 to 19 or 20%. And I'll show you later how you can determine what those percentages are. But they're vendors that, in fact, you've probably heard of. I'm suspecting that the names on the screen are companies that you've seen most of, if not all of. And the rebate percentages, which I've noted there as well, they may not all be current, but they're all pretty close to what the current rates are. So Airbnb is an interesting example. It's a 5% rebate. I had a club member in Charlotte, and he was in between houses. So he sold one, his new one wasn't finished being built yet. So he was using Airbnb to rent a house. And he paid for that by buying a gift card. So it was $500. And for every $500 he bought that gift card for, $25 came back to our club. So the percentages, when they get into the 5 and 6 and 7, and then into the teens particularly, are quite attractive. And Bobby's asking if someone at district was talking about an online fundraising app. This is likely it, Bobby. That's probably what you heard us talking about. Okay, so some of those places look familiar, I presume, and it's interesting because I live in a small town in Southport, but we are often in places like Wilmington, or we go down to Myrtle Beach, or others, or we travel and we go to bigger cities. So while we may not have, a Panera here in Southport, if I go up to the north part of the county or I go into Wilmington, I'm going to see it. So when we're promoting this to our clubs, it makes sense to talk about retailers that or places that are available for folks that might be participating in the program. The airlines are a good example of one that is all online. It's all electronic gift cards for them. But I bought Southwest gift cards before I went on a trip, and got 4%. I was talking to another guy that bought Delta. Delta had a sale. They're normally a 4%, and they had a sale where they were giving 8%. He bought $500 because his son was going to fly to town. So, that was a bunch of money there that was raised. So it's nice when it comes in big chunks. It's easier to kind of get the appreciation for what it is. So these are the normal rates, but as I mentioned, they do have sales. So if I can get my screen to move forward. There we go. This came off from just 2 days ago. They had these particular vendors were having a sale. So if you bought Golden Corral, instead of a 9% rebate, which is their normal rate, they were giving 14%. Now I know that a lot of our clubs in the district actually have their meetings at Golden Corrals. So if the members are paying when they walk in the door, and if they bought the gift card, they can use the gift card, and the club is going to have gotten 14% if they buy it while it's on sale, or 9% normally, which is still pretty good in terms of what the refund is. Now, it probably wouldn't work very well at the club level if the club is paying the bill, but a lot of them, you walk in, you pay, and then you go back to the room where the event is being held. So,
Mr. Joe, got a quick question,
yes, sir.
and you may cover this, I'm not sure. How can a vendor get on this list? Will you cover that as well?
Well, I hadn't planned to it, but let me just address it. If
Okay. Thank
on the website, I actually saw it when I was looking at it, getting ready for tonight. There is a place to check for adding vendors onto the website. So talk to me later about that one, Brian. If you had somebody in mind, we could talk about how to go about it, but I'd have to look at it specifically. But there's a form they fill out, and they have to agree. I'm sure there's a lot of terms that you and I don't see because they're making money, the vendors, right? They're giving you a discount, but they're making money. And,
Okay, so quick question then. I don't mean to interrupt, but question. Okay, so what a good example is to have like our KI store for buying stuff added to this website?
I don't think KI will be in the market for giving the discounts because they're going to have to be paying something to RaiseRight.
Gotcha.
They're getting a fee. They're not living on the 29 cents that I pay to do that. My guess is that if a 15% rebate is being paid, then there's a couple percent more that's probably going to RaiseRight for having made the sale on their behalf. So,
Thanks, sir.
yep. Another promotion that happens with this, and this is coming up just next week. They have a sale going on. They'll have a large sale going on. It's kind of like the Black Friday of e-gift cards. So if you're willing to buy electronic gift cards, and we'll talk about the difference of those in a few minutes, they have a very big sale next week. So I anticipate that my volume in my two clubs is going to go up because there are going to be 100 vendors that are going to be giving significantly more discounts. And it may be only 1% or 2%, but like I buy Starbucks gift cards through this, and that's normally a 4.5% rebate, but they usually bump it up to 6.5% when they do these sales. So I always wait for the sale to upload or to buy the rest of my gift cards. Okay, so we make money if our members buy cards or if we sell cards. So how do we incentivize our members to sell cards? What RaiseRight recommends is that we somehow share the rebate with them to give them encouragement that they will actually use them and make this a habit and get used to buying the gift cards to make their purchases, or as they used to call it, shop with script. Buy these gift cards and use them to make their own normal purchases on a regular basis. But your club will decide how it wants to operate and how it wants to share, if it wants to share the money that's earned. So how do we use it if we get it? As I mentioned earlier, for those that were here, you can use it for the service fund if you make money off this, or you can use it for your administrative fund if we have earned the money from our members. So if we earn it from our members, we can use it in the administrative fund. If we sell gift cards to the public, which we'll talk about how to do that as well, then those funds should be used in your service funds. So in the administrative fund, what you could do is you could refund, you could give the members actual cash if you want to share a percentage, or you could apply it specifically to their dues invoice. You could establish something called a dues scholarship fund where you want to take a share of the money that we earn and you want to use that to help people to become members of your club so that you can mitigate the cost of being a member. You might do that for targeted groups. You know, say, for example, you want to have some teachers join, and you know teachers don't make a lot of money, they don't have a lot of time, but you'd love to have them in your club. So you may say, let's put some money aside, and then we can charge a lesser rate of dues for teachers, for example. And you could just use it for general purposes, which is what the Charlotte Club was doing last year when they did this. They just said, help us raise money, which is what we did. And that went into the general fund for their general purposes. Now, let me give you a couple of examples in specific on these two clubs. So in Southport, what they decided, and this decision was made back when we were anticipating that not only was there going to be a district dues increase, but there was going to be an international dues increase. And they were looking at maybe hitting $50 or $60 of a dues increase. So well, how can we encourage our members to stay in the club and pay the increased dues so that they can still do the service that needs to be done? So they said, well, let's take whatever we earn, 100%, and the first and up to the amount of our dues that can be applied by our members. So we did have one member that covered nearly all their dues with what they earned. What we did is we cut it off in July. We said by the end of July, because that's when we send out our bills for the year beginning October 1. So anything that was earned up through July could be applied against the invoice for the dues that were due in July. Or, I'm sorry, due in September for the October 1 year. And then anything that was raised since July, in August through July of next year, will apply to the next year's dues. Some of our members decided after they raised, $30 or $40, they just said, keep it. That's fine. I'll just pay the dues bill. No big deal. But we gave them that option. And they could have also said, geez, we'd prefer you to just put that in the service fund. I'll just pay my dues. But you never know how that's going to go. But anyway, they had the opportunity to apply 100% to their dues. And as I said, if in Southport, if it's raised by selling to the public, which they have not done yet, then that would go to our service fund.
Joe,
Yes.
how are the dues identified by members? Does the company do that when they send their records, or do you do it? Or
Yeah, that's a good question, Lynn. And there's very good reporting available through the Raise Right app if you are the coordinator for your club. And I'll show you a copy of those reports in a little bit so you can see how I can tell not only who raised it, but I can tell what they bought.
how much? Good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep. So Charlotte said, we're going to have all the funds we need them in the administrative fund. We have fundraisers that are funding our scholarships and our other programs, but doing marketing and trying to get new members and the things that we pay for out of our administrative fund, they were struggling because of where their dues were and what they didn't want to increase their dues. So they said last year they put all of it just in their administrative fund. This year, they've decided that to encourage people to do this, that they will give 50% credit for what's earned against the dues that folks have. So still an incentive to do it, because if you raise a couple of $100, and I'll show you in a little bit how it's not that hard to raise a few $100s on an individual basis. If you're getting half of that as a credit on your dues, it goes a long way, particularly in clubs where the dues aren't particularly high to begin with. And again, for any sales made to the public, they will in fact put those in the service fund. So that's kind of the gist of what it is and how the money can be used. But let's talk about some of the nitty gritty here. And this is where it can get a little confusing. So there are a couple kinds of gift cards I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about a couple different ways that you can order these gift cards. How do we handle payment coming to the clubs? And then talk about the app for the phone, which I'll say up front is by far the most profitable way to use the app, to use this program. But not everybody wants to do it on the phone, so we've made provision for that. Okay, traditional gift cards. I put a picture of a couple of them up there, Chili's and Starbucks, and these are cards that you would, if you went into Walmart and you bought a gift card from them, it looks just like this, right? It's a piece of plastic, it's physical. You can vary the amount that you put on the card when you go to the cash register. Now, you're never going to raise a penny for your club buying those clubs at Walmart or anywhere else. You have to buy them through RaiseRight for us to get the discount that we're talking about. But what happens is with these is that they have to be physically mailed. Okay, so those cards are going to be mailed to the club. There's a flat fee assigned for the shipping and handling cost. Then the coordinator for the club needs to be able to distribute those to the folks in their club that purchased them, or if you bought them for the public, they have to find a way to distribute them to those in the public. There's a flat fee, which I've noted here. $10.50 is the base fee for UPS ground, and you can pay more to get the cards quicker. Though I have to say, they've been very good at getting the cards to me within 2 business days, and that's plenty fast enough by and large. Now, if you're only earning $2.50 of rebates, don't place the order. Okay, because it's going to cost you $10.50 to get the physical cards sent to you. And they run specials as well. So sometimes they'll say, okay, this month, and they did this last month, if you buy $200 worth of Total Wines and More gift cards in this month's order, we won't charge you any fee for shipping and handling. So I bought $200 worth of gift cards for Total Wines and More, which was very easy to spend, I have to say. And the club then forgot whatever else was ordered for no fee, offsetting the earnings that it made. But you do have to collect the money, so somebody can write you a check to the club to pay for those gift cards. And the other thing you can do is that you can say, okay, you don't want to use the app, but here's a way you can buy gift cards, and you can create your own, what they call a custom family order form. I'm going to show you an example of that here. You pick what products you want to include on your gift form and what denomination. So, for example, you can see Amazon's up there first, and Amazon's not a big one, though it's pretty easy to spend $1,000 in a year on Amazon, right? So maybe if you spent $1,000 and that's $17 that you earn isn't such a bad deal. But you can buy gift cards to give away in various denominations. So you can include on this gift card whatever denominations you want. So on this one, I put 100, $10, and $25 gift cards. Bath and Body Works, you can do a $10 card, you can do a $25 card. Those were 12%. Last month, they were on special, and I sold $100 worth of those, and somebody got 17% value for those. So if you want to give them as gifts, or people want to buy them and help the club, this is one way to do it. You can create this form, people can fill it out. The club puts the order in and gets the cards, and then has to distribute them, whether that's for members or if it's for a public sale. But you create this, you pick what vendors to put on there. So obviously you pick ones that are local to where your clubs are located. Okay, now traditional gift cards can also be sent just to the individual. if they choose, if those gift cards are what they call ship to home eligible, and that's something that you see as you go through the process, and I'll show you that in a moment. The total cost of an order is 29 cents. So I could order 5 or 6 different gift cards. Let's say I ordered 5 gift cards. They're going to charge me a total of 29 cents for the convenience fee. They're going to charge me a handling fee to send me those cards of 50 cents a card. So that's another $2.50. And then they're going to charge me 50 cents to mail it. So unless there's a really high value, then they insist that in fact you use a UPS option, which costs a little bit more. So if 29 cents, $2.50 for 50 cents per card, and then 50 cents mailing fee, it would cost me $3.29. So if I was ordering $500 worth of gift cards, or say I ordered $400 of gift cards so I could get them mailed to me, and the average I was getting was 10%, which wouldn't be that unusual. So I'm going to earn $40. I don't mind spending $3.29 to have those shipped to me. If I was buying 2 gift cards from Amazon with a 1.7%, it's probably not worth it. Okay. Now, the other thing we'll talk about is that there's different ways to pay for these. If you get the 29-cent rate as the only fee, if in fact you've linked your bank account to the app. And some people are fine with that. Some people don't want to do it that way. And there are other options for them if they choose not to do that. If I order it on the app, but I haven't put in a bank account and I don't want to pay the fee for the charge card, and I'll show you those in a minute, then I can say, I'm going to pay my coordinator directly. And those cards will not be released to you until the coordinator at the club says, I've been paid for them. You can send the cards. Okay. So there's a delay in getting them. Now, e-gift cards are by far the easiest to use because there's no card to lose. There's no card to misplace. Forget to put it in your wallet when you were going to go to that particular store, because they're all on your phone. They're electronic, and they're in this app that I mentioned earlier, which is called the RaiseRight app. So if I order a gift card, an electronic gift card, and pay for it by having it linked to my bank account, then I'm standing in Walmart, or I'm standing, or better, let me give you a better example than Walmart because that's a low percentage. I was in Applebee's, and Applebee's was running a sale that week, and I think it was a 14% rebate. So I was sitting there having lunch saying, okay, I'm going to spend a little over $50. I'll buy a $100 gift card. I'll be back here. Buy a $100 gift card. It cost me 29 cents along with the $100. It immediately debits my bank account. And within minutes in my app on my phone, I've got a $100 gift card that I can show to the waitress, who will write down the gift card number and the PIN, go back to her machine, and I spent that money. So I'm not spending any more money than I would have spent anyway. And we earned 14%. So it was $14 on that particular single purchase that was raised. Now, if you don't want to link it to your bank account, a member can in fact link a credit card to it, but there is a fee if you use a credit card. So they're basically paying the merchant fee, which RaiseRight is going to incur because they accepted the credit card, and that's 2.6%. Now, they've just added this last option within the last couple of months, and that is that you can link a debit card instead of a credit card, or give them all the information off of your bank account. So if you want to give them your debit card, there's a 1% convenience fee or fee equivalent to what they're presumably paying the banks. In any event, when you do that 29 cents, that's per order. That's not per card. So if I was when I was sitting in Applebee's and I got that $100 gift card with the 14% rebate, I was also going to go to Lowe's that day, Lowe's Hardware. And so I bought a $50 card for them at a 4% rebate. So, you know, a couple more bucks at the same time. So I bought 2 electronic gift cards, but I only paid one 29-cent fee. So it's whatever cards you're buying in one transaction. It doesn't matter how many, the fee is 29 cents. How we doing on participants, Donnie? Anybody else signing in?
We had one come aboard, Catherine. I don't know
Okay.
who Catherine was, but that's all.
Okay. Doddridge, possibly, guessing. Okay. This is something I learned because one of my members decided to try it. And that is that she put her order in on the RaiseRight app for electronic gift cards and said she would pay the coordinator. She would pay me. Obviously, check made payable to the club. It's an individual that did not want to share her bank account information, her credit card number, or a debit card number with RaiseRight. So she gave me a check. I went on to the RaiseRight website. I released her order because it had been paid, and she said that it was almost immediate after that I had released the order that she then got in her wallet on her phone. She got access to that electronic gift card. So that was an interesting way to do it because there's no 29-cent fee. There's no 2.6%. There's no 1%. There's no fee. And there's no shipping because it's an electronic gift card. All they did was send her an email. So it's fine to do that, but it is a delay. It's not like I could be sitting in Applebee's and nobody's going to, you know, call the coordinator and go, okay, I just bought a card, release it, you know, because you got to get me the money first. So there is a delay under that method, but this particular member buys about $300 or $400 of Walmart gift cards a month because that's what she said she spends when she goes to Walmart during the month. So we get a little bit of money earned for the club by her doing that. All right, here's a couple of screenshots from the app. So in this case, I've already bought a few gift cards. And you can see down at the bottom on that home screen, something called a wallet. So it's in the wallet, which is in that second screen, that you can see these are a couple of gift cards that I had purchased at the time. Red Robin, Jersey Mike's, Papa John's. I like to eat, what can I say? So it's an easy way to do it. And there are places that are all over the place, right? You can always find a Jersey Mike's now or a Papa John's, it seems, somewhere. So in this case, if you would be on your phone, you'd log in. I use my thumbprint to log in, so I don't have to remember any passwords. I open the wallet. I click on that e-gift card that's showing there next to Red Robin. And then that third screen pops up, which shows me what the balance is. It's got the card number on it. But if I click that little thing at the top that says use card, then that last screen shows up, and that's got the numbers on it that the waitress at the Red Robin needs in order to be able to access my gift card. And in fact, I can type that in because at Red Robin, they actually have those little machines on the table, and I can just type that in as the gift card number, and it actually works. So I can assure you that it does work. Now, sometimes we actually want to, like, you know, use these for gifts, not just use it yourself. And when you do, you can buy traditional gift cards or e-gift cards and send them to anyone. So here's an example of the Starbucks card at 4.5. And you can see this is a traditional gift card. And I circled there, ship to home eligible. So this is where it tells you whether you can buy it, ship it to you, and the coordinator for the club doesn't even have to get involved in the process. which is always, as the coordinator, my preference. Let you buy what you want to buy, and I don't have to worry about collecting money. But in any event, if it's ship to home eligible, this is where that shows. So pick the card, go to the cart, go to the checkout. These are just the steps that you go through when you're doing the purchase. And then select your payment option. And this is where it's got bank account, credit card. It now shows, since I did this screen, that actually shows a debit card option that you can add as another option to pay. Or you can pay the coordinator directly, or you can add a different credit card than what you may have already had on file. Then it says it's eligible, so say send, and then you can put in whatever address you want in that checkout screen in order to send it. And oops, didn't mean to do that. Okay. And then you can send e-gift cards to anyone, and they get it via an email. So if, for example, you wanted to send a little Christmas gift or something to your teachers at the school, you know, say your kids' teachers, if you wanted to send them something, you could do it this way, buy an electronic gift card. They get an email and says, Joe Crostic has sent you this $10 gift card as a thanks, or whatever message you decide to put on it. So in any event, you can give e-gift cards, and then you don't actually have to physically get a card and put it in an envelope and send it off to someone.
Quick question.
Yep.
Okay, say you did send buy an e-gift card and you wanted to send it to an email, but you put down by mistake the wrong email, and that person never gets it. How are you able to go back and recorrect that email and then resend back to that person?
I don't know the answer to that, Brian. I have not come across it. I guess if it was sent to a valid email, the answer is probably no. If it was sent to an email that bounced back to RaiseRight, I would say you probably can redirect it to the proper email. But these things are just like cash, right? So if you sent it to somebody and they received it and they didn't think it was spam and they went and used it, it's theirs. They've got all the information to use it. So we do need to be careful, because it is just like handling cash. Okay, before I get into this on how do we start, let me stop and pause here and just take any questions that y'all might have on just what the program is and how it works, if there are any. So feel free to jump in. Let me check the chat here. Okay, Claudia said she did an e-card just by taking a screenshot of what was sent to her and let her use that card. So that makes sense. Shipping e-cards is in fact done by, you could send it like Claudia did, where you took a picture of it and sent it, and or you could have it actually sent from RaiseRight. Any questions, thoughts?
Looks like a very good way to raise some money.
It can be. Okay, I'll show you how to raise 300 bucks in a couple minutes. Okay. So what do we have to do if we're a club that wants to do this? Well, the first thing is you have to have somebody like me that is willing to be the coordinator for the club. And I suggest actually probably having more than one, so that, we're not worried that Joe won the lottery this month and he's gone. So how do we deal with this going forward? So I suggest having a second coordinator, and it's easy to do that in the app. Okay, I got a question. Can you use an airline credit card to pay for the gift card? Yes, you can. You know, you're going to pay the 2.6% fee for using a credit card, but you will earn your miles if you do that. So that's certainly a possibility. So I guess if you know, I don't pay 2.6% unless I'm going to earn more than that, right? So I won't use a credit card to buy it unless I'm going to earn somewhere north of 5% usually. So identify a coordinator, somebody that's willing to take the time to learn, like you're all listening tonight, how to do it. And that person would then register your club. Now this is a fundraiser that's available to any not-for-profit. Okay, so any 501c3, 501c4, it doesn't matter. Any not-for-profit or community organization is eligible to sign up for the Raise Right program. It's not something specific to Kiwanis. It's used by a lot of schools for like their band programs or their sports programs to be able to buy extra equipment, to do travel, you know, for trips, that kind of thing. So it's used by a lot of schools currently, but anybody can sign up. So what you need when you go to sign up, we did used to need to know our K number. I'm not sure that they require that anymore. But I know when I signed up my clubs, I needed that. Club name and address. You need your tax ID number to be able to illustrate that you are in fact a 501c3 or a C4, but a not-for-profit. And you're going to need a copy of your bank statement because transactions between the club and Raise Right are done electronically via ACH transfer. So they need to be able to get the accurate information as to what your club's checking account is. So you need to have that when you sign up. But this is basically the data that you need in order to do this. And you can send them that bank statement as a PDF file.
How secure is that website and all your transactions stuff, since you're providing critical information?
Sure. I can't answer that specifically, Brian, but what I can tell you is this was a Kiwanis International partner back in 21 and 22. So I believe that was somewhat vetted by the organization. I can tell you that there have been no issues in the couple of years that I've been working with the program. I mean, their reputation depends on this. They've been around a lot longer than since 2021. I have not read any, and I'm in a Facebook group of users. I have not read any concerns raised with regard to the security. So I hope that's the case. I can't promise it, but I can tell you that we haven't seen any issues. It's a good question, though. And it's one question our members ask. Why would I give them my bank account information?
Oh yeah, they're definitely gonna ask that.
But you know what? If you give somebody a check, you just gave them every bit of information that you're sharing with Raise Right, because your routing number and your account number are on that check. So it's no different than giving somebody a check, except it sits in their computer file, which if it gets hacked, conceivably could create an issue. Oop. Okay. So if the club signs up, what happens is it gets assigned an enrollment code. And that enrollment code is how your members can then sign up to participate and support your club. So if they go to the RaiseRight.com website, they would put in your enrollment code, and that way it links their account to your benefit, specifically by that enrollment code. They don't need to know how to spell the name of your club or the exact, all they need is the enrollment code. If you use a Raise Right app, the same thing. You can join and give them an enrollment code number, and in fact, that will link them to your club's your fundraiser. Or you can get a QR code, and I'll show you in a few minutes where to get that from Raise Right, and that QR code will as well link them automatically to your club, and that's the easiest way to do it if they're comfortable with that and using their phones.
So one person would sign up with the actual club, and then say one of our members wanted to sign up, they would just sign up and type in their code and then it would automatically link.
Right. That enrollment code is specific to your club,
Okay.
right? So. Okay, so this is a document that I prepared when we started the program at Southport. And this is where I gave them a QR code that made it very easy for them to scan on their phone and sign in, link their credit card or link their bank account to it. And then I had a second page, and it reminded me of that one commercial I keep hearing on the radio about the guy that raises money from buying gasoline at the pump, right? So how can it really amount to anything? Well, the answer is yes. Okay, so here's an example of somebody that can how you can raise $300 on the card, and this can be customized. You can do this yourself. I just did it in Excel based on vendors that are in your market or that you think your members might visit, markets they might visit. So I put down some travel options. I put down some everyday purchases, places like CVS where you get 6%, which is a pretty good rebate. Hardware stores. What if I go to eat out when I live here near the coast? What about when I go on vacation where they have bigger restaurants, chain restaurants? Like we have no Cheesecake Factory here anywhere near me. I think I have to go to Raleigh for that, right? Okay. But that's something that I can do and I have done. Or if you actually want to give gifts to your grandkids, you know, an Apple gift card or a Disney card, an Old Navy or TJ Maxx or Marshalls. So seeing those rebate numbers with those dollars purchased over the course of a year, right, can raise $300 on an individual. So if you're doing this to encourage people to stay in your club, and you know, part of that $300 could go against their dues. And in some clubs, $300 would cover their entire year or more. For clubs that don't include food or have a small food allowance in their budget for dues out of their administrative funds. So it's really not that hard to raise $300 when you think about it over the course of 12 months. Okay, so when they sign up, they link a payment method or decide they're not going to. But if they link a payment method, it reduces the costs. So 29 cents is the fee, and the absolutely clearly the best profitable way to do it. And it's per purchase, not per card bought. That's 29 cents. You can buy 100 gift cards, or real, I guess, and pay 29 cents. Credit card fee 2.6. Debit card is the 1% fee. As I said, there are some people that say, I'm not giving that information out. Okay, well, if that's the case, they don't pay these fees, but what happens is there is that delivery fee, flat fee of $10.50 that has to be covered. So what we're doing in our club is on a monthly basis, if I sell gift cards to people that don't that want them shipped to the club and want to give me a check for it, so that's fine. But I allocate shipping costs based on the relative amounts of the rebates earned. Okay, not on the face value of the cards, but on the rebates earned. So if they bought some Amazon cards and raised $1.70 for $100, you know, they're going to get an allocation of whatever that $10.50 is, depending on who else ordered cards that month. So far, nobody has come up negative on that. I won't order the cards if I don't have enough to cover the shipping cost. And I do it monthly, by the way. I made a comment. There was a comment on the slide earlier that the frequency that you actually order the physical gift cards is up to the club. The decision I made is that I'll do that once a month if we have enough interest for purchasing the cards. You know, if it's the holiday time and you're getting a lot of people sending you stuff and you want to do it more frequently, then that's fine, right? you can certainly do that. Okay, a little bit about the administrative side of this, and this is a screenshot from their website. So whoever decides to be the coordinator for your club has some access to videos, flyers that can be customized, branding tools so you can get the logos and stuff like that to put on documents that you might want to create. There's some good information on these how-to guides. There are seasonal guides that are trying to promote specific vendors at a given time, like around Christmas time. That holiday gift giving guide just came out, and that's accessible to anyone on their website. But there is some help there. The other thing that I use a lot, and any coordinator would, is something called their dashboard. And it's on this dashboard over on that left side where you can actually download the QR code and put that on your document to make it easy for members to sign up. But I was asked before about reporting. How do I know who earned what? Well, at the bottom of that this screen, you can see the all reports. And if you click on all reports, that list that's now on your left side shows you the reports that are in fact available for the coordinator to download. Now, not any member can do this. Only the coordinator or assistant coordinators can get access to this information. And if you select the order history by family and product, the report, this particular month, it was a 2-page report. Steve bought Ace Hardware and Delta. I bought a Jersey Mike's card, Total Wine. I left my name up there because I don't care that you see. I don't know about the other folks. Margaret bought some TJ Maxx cards. Ann bought a DSW card. And then Mike bought 3, actually more than 3, but 3 vendors of gift cards. So this is the kind of reporting that you can get, and you can specify the period of time that you want it for. Maybe you don't want to do this monthly. Maybe you want to do it quarterly. Well, you can have that report whatever dates that you want it to have. And you can go back in time and see historically what's been earned. So this is one report. There are others. The bottom one there is the online payment auto order deposit slip, and I print that every month because I want my treasurer of my club to know what money should have been received. So this tells me how much they sent. They pay you on I think it's the first Monday of the month, I think, if my memory's right. And you've earned at least $20, they will credit that to the club's bank account on the first Monday of the month. But I can look at it, make sure that it reconciles to the detail like you see on the screen, and make sure that we're actually getting paid the right amount. And there's not been any issue in the time that I've been doing it. So they've been pretty good about it. That's a lot of material. But I want to keep us moving here. It's almost 8 o'clock, but I'm happy to take any questions from anyone on the call and respond the best I can. And I gave you my contact information so that if in fact you'd think about it or you have some questions later, feel free to reach out to me. Email is the best way to track me down. But my cell phone is there as well in case something's kind of urgent and you want to talk about it. But floor is open.
So Joe, this is Bobby Jones from High Point.
Hey, Bobby.
So I got a question on the physical gift cards.
Yep.
You order those, do they come in activated and ready to use, or does the recipient have to do something to activate them?
Yeah, they are activated and ready to use. So they're like cash coming to you as the coordinator.
So is there an option to have them unactivated if you wanted that, so that the person would need to activate it online or something?
No, not an option. They come ready to go.
Okay, thank you.
Peggy Fouts, Little River, North Myrtle Beach. So if the club signs up for this, there's no fees charged to the club, correct? All the fees are charged whenever the purchases are made, correct?
That's right. That's right.
Okay,
Good question.
thank you.
That doesn't cost the club anything. Though what happens is that when the club places an order for physical cards where it's collecting the cash, what happens is that when the coordinator releases that that payment or tells RaiseRight that they've received the payment, the club will then be charged the amount. So say I bought $400 of gift cards and gave the club a check for that. Well, RaiseRight sends the cards to the coordinator, but they also charge the bank account of the club for the net amount. So say you earned $60 worth of rebates on that 400, they charge the club $360 at the time that the coordinator releases it. That's why I always say I want to collect the money first before I approve the release of those cards, because I want to get it deposited in the bank so my treasurer has the money. So when RaiseRight charges us or debits our bank account for that $360, it's already there. So that's the only way that charges come against the club, but you should have collected more than that from the people that were buying the cards.
Now, Mr. Joe, I know you have a financial background and everything like that. Okay, so for the common people, that means people other than yourself and the actual treasurers, how doable do you see this going forward?
I think it's quite doable. I mean, this is, while I had a CPA certificate at one time in my life, this is also done by PTAs, band parents. This isn't really that complicated. And so I think while I might build a really kind of fancy spreadsheet to keep track of everything by person, I do that because I am a bit anal, right? But you don't need to do all that.
Okay, so one last question for me. Okay, so like say if we want to present this to our clubs, right? If we go to that website to actually join and everything, how can we actually get an updated list of all the participants before we actually join up? You see what I'm saying?
When you say participants, do you mean the vendors?
Yeah, the vendors, because that's going to be your selling. See what I'm saying? So how can we get that list of vendors to sell this? You see what I'm saying? Without having to actually sign up for it yet.
It's right there on the website. Let me get that up on my screen and I'll share it with you. Hang on just a second. I'm going to share my screen and then kind of just walk you into their website. How about that? Okay, so when you go to RaiseRight.com, this is what you see. And talks a bit about hundreds of brands, etc. But if you go to how it works, let me see if I get this right. Okay. If I go to shop. Okay. So I haven't signed in, so it doesn't know I'm a member yet. So here are featured brands, the bonuses that they happen to be running. But then here is the shop all categories. So if you were interested specifically like in restaurants, you click here on restaurants. And then they're all listed, Brian. Okay. Now there was a report, I think, back on the reports page that you could actually list out all of the companies. Let me just see if I can do that here. Let me sign in. Go to account, coordinator dashboard. Here's the bit about local suppliers, Brian, that you asked about. Set up a local retailer or brand to add to your program. So that's where you would get that information. Let me go to reports for a minute. Okay, there was not a list of all the. I know there's a way to do this. I'll have to look at it. But that's where you can figure out your local stuff there. Let me go back. Interestingly, too, as you might have just noticed, this is my account for the Charlotte South Brunswick Club. You can support multiple organizations, but you have to, the last one that you supported will automatically be the next one you support unless you go back and change it. So, get rid of that.
How long did it take you to talk the club members into this? Because I, as a user, find it incredibly easy. All I have to do is remember to use it. And it's uncomplicated and there's tons of vendors, but there's no, the most of the club members are like, they just blow it off when I try to talk about it.
Right. Well, it's interesting. What I did was talk to our board first. That was the board has to be willing to commit the club to do it, and they have to decide how that club wants to use the funds. So, like in Southport, they're the ones that decided that 100% of what earned will go against an individual's specific dues. It was the board in Charlotte that decided otherwise. So the first thing that you or I had to do was to sell it to the board to get their buy-in, that they're willing to allow us to set up an account in their name, link our bank account to it. Now, to get members to sign up then is the next and the more difficult step sometimes, because somebody has to see the benefit, right? And if they don't care about money, they don't care that what their dues are, then they're not going to care about this program and they're not going to participate. And that's fine. It's voluntary. It needs to be voluntary. But if it's somebody that says, hey, I think this is kind of cool. It's easy money, which it is. They'll sign up. Now, I had more people sign up in Southport, for example, than have ever used the program. So they might have actually gone onto the app and used the QR code, signed up, but still have never made a purchase. And the only way I can think of is that we just have to keep reminding them about it. I'm going to use my meeting next week, which happens to be on one of the days that they're having this big sale, to remind members that this is an option. So, it has to be visible. I, like you, Claudia, had people said, I'm not giving you my bank account number. That's just not going to happen. But what I found is that it's really not that hard to do it without their bank account number, as long as they know they're going to have to pay the shipping fees. That's kind of the other side of it. And if they want to buy electronic cards, I found out that you can do it without paying shipping fees. but you just have to wait to get access to the card. So it's not as convenient as sitting in the Applebee's, buying the card and using it while I'm sitting there. But you know, we've had maybe 15% of our members signed up, 20%. And the others, they'll say, "Oh, I'm not tech savvy enough to do that." You're muted, Claudia. I can't hear you. Sorry.
It's free money. I just don't understand why they don't have an interest in that. That's my thing.
Yeah, I understand.
So
I have one last question. What type of responsibility do we have to the treasurer at the end of the year when we start the tax information?
Well, I mean, I'm sharing with my treasurer on a monthly basis what's been earned. There is a tax ruling letter that they have gotten that this does not create a taxable event for the not-for-profit club. So from that perspective, Brian, there's no real risk to the club. But I want them to be able to, when they get their bank account every month, I want them to be able to know that they were charged or credited the right amounts. And I provide that information to them on a monthly basis. And again, you could just take the reports that come right out of RaiseRight and do that. I like to summarize it for them a little easier by putting a little spreadsheet together, but that's just me.
So the IRS sent the club the letter that there's no tax event created.
RaiseRight has that.
Oh,
ruling.
RaiseRight does. Okay.
And I think it's one of the things that's available on the coordinator website.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That's my understanding.
Because our treasurer is our coordinator, so she, I guess, knows all this already.
Good enough. Any other questions? Okay. Well, thank you all for joining us. Hopefully it's useful. Share it. If you have questions, feel free to get back to me. I gave you my contact information earlier. It'll be available when this will be up on our website, probably in a week or so. So you can look under the recorded webinars section on the district website to be able to see the video. And if you need to get in touch with me and you can't remember what my email is, etc., then feel free to just give Leah a call or shoot her an email and she'll get it back to you so that you can talk to me directly. I am willing, when it's feasible, to visit clubs and talk to you, your clubs about this program and how it works. Obviously, I just asked if it's going to cost me a little money. You help me with the travel costs. I don't have an allowance anymore from the district, so I need the clubs to help me if that's the case.
Governor Donnie got you.
Good enough.
Thank you so much. The presentation was very helpful.
Thanks. And by the way, if any clubs want a presentation to use, I can provide you this one. I can provide you the one that I did from Southport. Just drop me an email and ask me, and I'll be happy to share it. Okay.
Thank you, Joe.
Yeah,
My pleasure, Lynn. Hope to see you soon.
Thank you so much, Joe.
Like now.
Thanks, Joe, and thanks everybody for coming and listening, because this is a very good program. Please pass it along to your clubs.
Okay. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Joe.
Yeah.
Where did you say you were from again?
Southport.
Like what? You're in Southport? Okay.
Yeah.
I was just curious. How far is that from Robinson County?
It takes me about an hour and 20 minutes, maybe, at the most. You know, I just got to I got to go the Green Swamp Road and then zip out 74. So
Okay. Okay. I was just curious.
sure enough. Take care.
All righty. Have a good one. Thank you.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.